Taste, brought to you in part by J.P. Cheney, Hand Arnold Trinidad Limited, and Aluen.
Welcome to this week's episode of Taste. I always promise you exciting new chefs with exciting secrets and tips to give you. And this week, I'm not going to disappoint you because we have with us a young, talented chef, Edward Inglefield. Welcome, Edward.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
What are you doing for us today, Edward? I heard you may be doing something with pumpkin.
Yeah, well, what I'm going to do for you is Jura Spice roasted pumpkin soup. It's a really nice soup. It's your basic pumpkin soup, but really dressed up with lovely roasted pumpkin, gives that a really nutty flavor. And then the Jura Spice, right at the end, it's a really nice earthy undertone. It's really a nice balanced soup.
Well, that sounds delicious. What else are you doing for us today?
I'm also going to do a pan-seared mahi-mahi with a
I
coconut
love
curry
mahi-mahi.
sauce.
With a coconut curry sauce. That's three of my favorite things all on one dish. I tell you what, why don't we start doing it? Show me how you prepare your pumpkin soup.
Sure. Well, the first thing we're going to do with the pumpkin soup is we're going to take the pumpkin, which I've cubed up, and I'm going to just throw it in this bowl.
You know, everybody has a different recipe for pumpkin soup. If you go into 50 houses in Trinidad, you get 50 different recipes for pumpkin soup.
Sure. Add this a little bit of olive oil. A really good tip is if you're using olive oil, you could buy the large containers of olive oil, but use these little squirt bottles are fantastic. So just have easy there, you just grab it, use your olive oil.
Not only that, you don't waste any.
Exactly.
So you put olive oil on it?
A little bit of olive oil. Got some salt there. Some fresh cracked black pepper. Always best to use fresh cracked black pepper.
Yeah, because it's a little stronger.
I'm just going to mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
You have a tray.
I have a tray here, yes. Sure. Here we go. Would you like to put it on that?
So we're just going to tray it out and stick them in the oven.
Shall I put it for you?
Sure, good, thank you.
Great. So Edward, what else do you do after that?
Okay, so the second step is we're going to build the base of the soup, which is we're using a mirepoix, which is generally...
Mirepoix. Explain that for the audience. What is a mirepoix?
Mirepoix is generally celery, onions, and carrots, but instead of using the celery today, I'm going to use Christophine. I'm really trying to use...
that's a nice twist on it.
Yeah, try to do a little local twist. I mean,
Tell me something, before we skip past it, how long do I have to leave that in the oven for?
It takes about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, because you've cubed it small.
Yeah, it's really tiny, so I mean, you just want to get a little bit of color on it.
Oh, okay, good.
Right, so
we're going to do the mirepoix in
this silver.
This one here.
Yes, you're just going to grab... Okay. You're going to start off with a little bit of butter.
Okay. Bit of Anchor butter, which is always excellent. That's the salted or the unsalted one?
This is the salted butter.
Okay, great.
Just a little bit of olive oil again. You could use all olive oil or all butter. The thing I use the olive oil and the butter, what happens is that the oil in the olive oil, it doesn't allow the butter to burn. Because if you have it on, if you put plain butter, you might get your butter to burn.
And so you add to this now your carrots.
Yeah, we have our carrots.
I never thought of putting Christophine in it as a mirepoix.
Yeah, I think Christophine is kind of a neutral flavor.
Sometimes I find Christophine actually doesn't have a lot of
it doesn't have a lot of flavor, but it's a neutral.
But it adds substance also.
It adds substance and a lovely texture. So
the chefs that come and share their secrets with us in here are continually teaching me new things.
Yeah. So we're gonna get this going.
Need a spoon?
Yeah. Get this going.
Now, how long does this have to saute here?
I mean, you could saute it. You really want to start to see the onions start to get a little bit translucent. And that'll take about
10-15 minutes.
About 10 minutes.
Okay.
It'll take about 10 minutes. So yes, this is going to get nice and lovely. And what we're going to add to this is something called a bouquet garni, which is...
A bouquet garni. Hello, that's another one, folks. What's a bouquet garni?
Well, it's basically just a tie-up of different herbs or different spices that you put together to drop in a pot. But the thing about it is you're going to use... I have some butcher's twine here. And I'm going to wrap the bouquet garni in the butcher's twine. So that when you're ready to blend the soup at the end of it, you just pull it straight out. Okay. You get all the lovely flavors, but you don't get all the chunks.
Now, there is a tip, folks. You wrap your herbs, your spices. I see Edward is using bay leaf.
I have bay leaf, I have cinnamon sticks.
Cinnamon.
And I have some lovely fresh fine thyme.
Thyme, the fine leaf thyme.
Yeah. See, I'm just wrapping it up.
Okay, so it's just a quick wrap with all those herbs.
Spin them up.
Put it in. Okay, but we add also, do you add garlic and onions to this?
You could add the garlic a little bit later. You don't want the garlic to get too brown because then you could get kind of off taste.
Okay.
So yeah, add the garlic closer to the end of the...
Well, actually, I see this is starting to get a little brown, so why don't we... Or you're the chef here, would you like to put some in?
Of course, I mean, yeah, we can add a bit of garlic. I have some fresh chopped garlic right there.
Okay, I see you chopped it up. Not too fine, but
not too fine, because remember it's going to be blended at the end of it, so it doesn't have to be that fine.
Yeah.
So there's the garlic. Stir it up a little bit. You can see it's starting to brown on the bottom there a little bit.
Yes.
And we also have, just to bring everything together, we're going to use a little bit of just all-purpose flour.
Now, I've never done this, but this is very interesting. Yeah. Are you putting it in dry like that?
Yes, straight dry like this. What happens is that because I put the butter and the oil at the beginning, essentially what I'm making is a roux. A roux is a butter and flour mixture that really brings everything, it gets thickens and binds.
It usually serves as a base for making thick sauces, yes?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Okay, another secret, folks. Another tip.
So we have all this going.
Mind you, I would not have thought of just adding the flour in after I had done the vegetables. I was so accustomed to adding it in with the oil or the butter and butter.
Yeah, well, see, if you add it too early, you get this kind of massive butter flour mixed up, and you can't really saute vegetables in that.
So after this, what happens?
So this is going to go for a little while. You're going to wait till the flour starts to get a little bit brown on the bottom of the pan, and then after that, we're going to take a bit of water and deglaze it with the water. I mean, you could use wine if you like.
Now, I see. After this, the next step is what you add
the water and the cream.
The water and the cream.
Yeah.
Shall we go ahead and do that? So
sure. Can you just get a little bowl with some water for me? It makes good.
Okay, sure.
Some
with pleasure. All right. Here we go.
Thank you. So basically, you're just going to add it straight in. You can hear all that, that lovely noise. It's that all your flavors coming off the bottom.
Absolutely. The smell is delightful. And look at it, it's just getting creamy as well with the flour.
Of course.
And you
so
add
a little bit of more water. If you can put a little bit more water in there for me.
Okay, I can.
And we have some cream. So you add your cream.
Yeah. Shall I just add it in for you?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
And
so you let this go for a little while?
Yeah, and the last thing we're going to add is the pumpkin, which is
I actually saw that you'd cooked some before. Shall I grab it for you?
Sure. And because it's been cooked already, you don't have to add it in during the time you're doing the onions and the cauliflower. So this is your roasted pumpkin.
Okay, so folks, you see the pumpkin is actually slightly golden.
Yeah, just a little golden brown. You don't want to cook it too much because
it doesn't actually look very soft. So, I mean, it's soft, but not overly so.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay. You can put that back here. Thank you, Edward.
And you're just going to stir this up.
Okay, so now what you do after you've added the pumpkin, you just let it sit and simmer?
Yeah, pretty much that's it. You leave it for maybe about a half hour.
Okay.
Let
Any other ingredients go into this now?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to cook down everything here, and then when we're done, we're going to blend it off, and then you're going to season it afterwards.
Okay.
The prep is underway and I am excited. Jeera spiced roasted pumpkin soup and pan-seared mai. Let's get in on that action.
So you've put water, cream, and nothing else goes in here. You've got all your spices.
Yes.
Okay, so while this is cooking, do you want it lidded or just leave it like this?
No, it's perfect just like this.
Why don't we go ahead and do the curry sauce for the shrimp?
Let's start.
For the fish, shrimp.
Yes.
Fish. Mahi, which is one of my favorites.
So we're going to do a very basic curry sauce.
Yeah.
But we're going to add this lovely coconut, which is going to bring out really nice flavors.
Okay, and how do you do your curry sauce?
So we're going to start off with a little bit of oil in the pan.
Open this quiet for you, turn it on.
It's a bit hot. Turn it down a bit.
Okay.
A little bit of oil in the pot. In the pan, sorry.
Okay, so I guess about 2 tablespoons you put there, maybe a little less.
We have our garlic.
Chopped garlic.
Chopped garlic. You want a tablespoon and a half of chopped garlic. And we have some onions. I had some sliced onions, but I'm using these diced onions. It's perfectly fine.
Okay. So it depends on your taste. If you like them sliced and you like longer slivers, or if you like them diced so they're small and
remember, it's a sauce, and it's just the base of the sauce you're making. So you can use this. So that's going to start to go.
Okay.
Let's let the heat go. Take it up a little bit.
Get the heat running there. And after this starts cooking, you then add in your...
We're adding the curry powder. This is actually a fantastic curry powder It's actually made by a guy in the market, in Port of Spain Central Market. He makes it all homemade. It's really fantastic. It's the best curry powder that I've ever used.
So shall we
Sure.
add the curry in?
You want to use maybe about two or three heaping teaspoons.
Okay. So 3 heaping teaspoons of this special blend of curry, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, you could use any curry you want, but I personally prefer this.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go
the
in.
smell is delightful. And you smell it instantly, it starts roasting the curry.
You really want to cook the curry a little bit before you add any of the liquid, because you could tend to get a very
It gets
grainy.
gritty if you don't cook your curry before you add other things to it. It does get slightly gritty.
I'll actually use a little bit more water in the bowl if you
Sure, I'll
don't
get
mind
you
helping
more.
out with
Just to get it going, right?
that. Yeah.
Now you tell me how much, Edward.
A little bit. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
So you see, it kind of goes. So let it come down, and it'll actually start to make a
Incredible.
paste. It'll start to form a
Yeah,
paste around
it
the
is actually.
the thing.
Covering all the onions and garlic. Need a little more, is that okay?
No, that's good. The fire's a bit hot, but get rid of that.
Let's turn it down a wee bit. So what do we do after this, Edward?
So right now we're going to add our coconut milk.
Okay, well, shall we go ahead and do
yes,
that?
we're going to add the coconut milk there. This is actually fresh squeezed coconut milk. You could use the powdered coconut milk, but you really don't get that flavor, that depth of flavor that you get from the fresh squeezed coconut milk.
Wonderful.
There you go.
No, I love coconut milk with curry.
So you just want to just stir it up a little bit. Try and break up some of those.
And the curry is blending in with the coconut and
Yes.
making a lovely sauce. And this is what we're going to use with the mahi mahi.
Yeah, this is going to go around your
Now the
mahi.
mahi mahi, how do you do the mahi mahi?
I'm actually going to pan sear the mahi. Very simply
Okay.
seasoned, just salt and black pepper. But,
How does
And then
this
pan
actually
sear.
need to go?
sorry.
How long does this need to go?
Oh,
on
this
the
will
fire?
go about 10-15 minutes.
10-15 minutes. So
Yeah.
would you like to go ahead and prepare the mahi mahi? I'll stir that for you.
Sure, if you would. Thank
It
you.
needs to be constantly stirred.
Yes, you don't want it to stick to
Okay,
the bottom.
folks, it needs to be constantly
And remember,
stirred.
it's coconut milk, so you don't want it to...
Yeah, milk will burn very
Burn, yeah.
quickly, so you have to stay here stirring. And I see that the pumpkin soup is bubbling away here. You have no idea what a beautiful aroma is coming off of this, and mixed with that, I don't know which one is even nicer.
Okay, so what I have here is the lovely mahi fillets. I'm just going to grab...
Oh, those look lovely. It's a very lean meat.
Yes. It's a fantastic meat in terms of if you love grilling.
Yeah,
it's the
I was just
perfect
going to say,
fish
is that
for
good for
grilling.
doing like barbecues and
Yeah.
things like that? But you must be careful, because with fish you don't need to cook it very long.
Yes, it goes very quickly.
Okay, so
So,
what do you do with the mahi mahi? Do you season it?
A very light season. I'm just going to do this one, and I'm going to show you how you can prepare it.
Okay.
All right.
And this curry sauce is boiling down beautifully. Should I
Yeah.
put it on a very low flame
Yeah,
to simmer,
very,
or
very
shall
low,
I
just
turn
to
it
simmer.
off?
If you could actually move it on, you could actually move the curry sauce onto the smaller burner, so you don't get that heat.
Okay.
Heat control is one of the biggest
Now,
issues
with
people
this,
have.
after this is cooked, what do we do with this? Do we put it in the blender? I think you told
Yes,
me.
you will remove
Okay.
the bouquet garni, which we'll do when we get to that point, and,
Okay.
and blend it off.
Okay.
So what I'm doing here with the mahi is I'm basically going to just portion it out. We have this lovely, this is about a 4 to 6 or 6 to 8 ounce portion of mahi. So I'm going to cut it in half. And people always complain the fish tastes too fresh, it's like too fishy.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest problems is that people don't tend to take out this line here, which is called the blood line.
Yeah.
This is the line that runs down the middle, the spine of the fish. So if you just take a sharp knife,
But do you really need to take that out? Because I've often wondered. I see some people do it and some people don't.
I personally prefer to do it. Make sure your fish is fresh, and
Okay.
just to avoid potentially having overly fresh fish, just remove this little bloodline.
Now, we're going to do what with that? We're going to sear it in this pan?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's get
I'm just
that
going to rinse
heated.
my hands and
Now, you see Edward washes his hands after he's touched all the various meats, and that's for cleanliness, not contaminating the food. That's a good practice for you to have at home.
Curry and coconut. Separate? Wonderful. Together? Dynamite. You'll find that out when you come back.